The desolate, empty land for which the opening round of the war in former Yugoslavia was fought 3 years ago. Nothing has changed in the self-declared Serbian Republic of Krajina since then. No country except the Serbs' cousins in Belgrade recognizes this as anything other than occupied part of Croatia from which Croats themselves have fled. The Serbian flag was raised over the town of Knin in December 1990, a full 6 months before the war began. The Serb rebels claimed that independent Croatia would discriminate against them. Despite their isolation and poverty, the 250,000 Serbs who now live in Krajina are still unshakable in their belief that their future lies in a greater Serbia. Their leader, a former police officer, Milan Martic, is prepared to talk to Croatia about sharing water and other resources, but no more.
We will not allow our economic negotiations to get mixed up with politics. Once the economic talks are finished, then we will negotiate about political issues. For the time being, however, we do not wish to be involved in any political talks.
The railway lines converging on Knin were the town's economic blood supply. The war has left them idle, but now the fighting in Bihać holds out hope for the Serbs. If they gain control of Bihać, they could reopen the line at least as far as the Bosnian Serbs' largest town, Banja Luka. That's the gateway to the vital corridor through which all supplies from the outside world must come. For the first time in the war in Bosnia, the Krajina Serbs have played a military role, which they justify with an unsubstantiated claim against the Bosnian government army.
The army of the Republic of Serbian Krajina is participating only in part to defend its own territory. You are well aware that the 5th Corps has entered on several occasions the territory of the Republic of Serbian Krajina. They're a terrorist group and they carried out massacres of the Serbian population in those areas.
The people of Krajina have got used to living in a state of permanent martial law. Their leaders telling them their hardships are a sacrifice needed for the never-ending war effort. Some, however, remember the past with longing.
People lost the nerves to wait. How long? Maybe for one year, 2 years, 10 years, who knows? But we don't wait a long time. We want to live easy, you know, a good life. Without a war, without killing.
Is there any chance that Serbs and Croats will be able to live together again?
I think it's never been like before between Croatia and Serbs. So after the Second World War, you know, we would live together, but after this war, I don't think so.
What's happened here may be a warning to those who think that if the fighting in Bosnia ends, it'll automatically lead to an overall solution. The freezing of the confrontation lines between the Krajina Serbs and Croatia, without a settlement of the fundamental political differences, has simply created a state of limbo, without war, but also without peace. It's felt most starkly in a town like Drniš on the southern edge of Krajina. The streets are empty because the majority of the people, Croats, were driven out. Neighbour turned against neighbour as the local Serbs organised their own militia, armed by the Belgrade-controlled Yugoslav People's Army. The embryonic Croatian army of the time was not strong enough to resist. Since then, all attempts to bring back the original Croatian residents have failed.
There can be no shared life together. We have to be aware of this. They don't want to live with us, we don't want to live with them. Maybe time will help. In 50, 100 years, the situation will be normal. But at this moment, I just don't believe in that possibility.
The United Nations, who brokered a ceasefire, have stationed 15,000 troops in Krajina. Their mandate is to work towards reintegration of the Serb-held regions with the rest of Croatia. But even the UN admits the Serbs appear set to hold out indefinitely.
They will say resolutely that they will live off the land if they have to for 1,000 years. And in the end, they will survive. And one has to feel at the moment, although to the outsider coming here, you see a very bleak situation run down. There is not a depressed feeling, I think, in the community. It's quite a resolute one that they know where they're going, regardless of history. And that's why our job for the UN is very much more difficult.
The Serbs' apparent willingness to let a new generation grow up in an impoverished land is based on an almost sacred belief in the cause of national unification. The outside world has discovered, both here and in Bosnia, that the Serbs can't be deflected by persuasion or hollow threats of force. Gabirado, Channel 4 News, Krajina.